Super excited to be here, Suzanne. Thank you very much for the lovely introduction, for the entire Driven team for supporting all of this over the next couple of days. And I want to give props to you, the first in liners, who really have stepped into, I don't know what to do, but I know enough to get into the right damn room. And I will tell you that that is a very big component of finding clients. So thank you. Congratulate yourselves. And I will tell you, I need you to be in this today. I need you to help yourselves get moving. And I'm going to be your guide today. So I'm curious in this room right now, how many of you already have a business? If you already have a business, I want you to tell me that by either saying me or pop one in the chat, because I want to know how many of you are already off zero. We're going to talk a lot about getting off zero and how you build momentum by doing that. So we've got quite a few people. I love this. Okay, so if you already have a business, I'm going to ask you a really uncomfortable question. How many of you are actually finding clients every single month? If you are getting clients every single month, I want you to put number 2 in the chat. How many of you are actually winning the client game? All right, we got Megan there, we got Alicia, we got Carrie, Chris, Andrew. Okay, let's racket it up just a little more. Guys, if you are just starting out, you got to hear the question. First goal, clients every month. Next goal here, how about clients every week? If you're getting clients every single week, I want you to say 3. I'm a 3 right now. I'm in momentum every single week, 52 weeks a year. I know how to do this. And I'm just watching your faces going, oh my God, this feels a little uncomfortable. I will tell you this. Now, how about every day? How about if you actually have a client growth engine, which is what I like to call it, where you know you have predictability, you have stability, and you have 100% control of your paycheck. You're living the entrepreneur dream. Because we don't all start here. Let's just get crystal clear. I've helped people create $1 billion in revenue. I did not start with daily sales. I did not start with weekly sales. I did not start with monthly sales. I started with a commitment to find my first sale. And what the key I want you to hear, and this is a writer downer, is I am going to commit to finding my next client. Because that's actually what's really, really important. And before I share with you, I'm going to train you on how do you actually find high-paying clients consistently. Hands up if you're like, hell yeah, I need some of that. I want to find more high-paying clients. You're in the right room. I'm going to show you how to do that. But before I do that, I want to ask your permission, if I have permission to share a little bit of the story, because I said we don't start great. We have to commit to greatness and get started. And I will tell you, I worked my career in the world of corporate. I started in the world of marketing, except for I got kicked out of marketing camp because I kept saying it has to be more than pretty. I needed it to be more than sizzle. I needed it to do something. And your talk and your stage presence has to do more than get you applause. If the goal of your speaking is business and client growth, it has to move people to take action, and the action you're looking for is a credit card or a payment transaction. But I started in marketing and I got kicked out, and I ended up in business development, sales, because I kept saying, these are the guys with money and they need the sizzle to do something. But that something was an idea. If we couldn't deliver the idea, we didn't win, and that's operations. And where my skill set is very unique in the marketplace is that I connect the marketing to the sale, to the operations, and that is how you create a client growth engine. I didn't start where I am now, and I want you to commit to this. I am a problem solver. I want to hear it in the chat, because you are going to wobble, you're going to get nervous, you're going to stand on grenades, you're going to blow yourself up, and you're going to doubt like you've never doubted on this journey. But you have to say, I'm a problem solver. Because the key to winning in business, and Suzanne was very right, it's not the brightest who make it. Smarts and the ideas are the easy bit. What makes you a great success story is that I can solve any problem. And so while my clients hire me to solve problems, the problem of how the hell do you find clients, What they actually get with me is the commitment of I know how to solve this. Put a heck yes in the chat if you're like, I want to win clients every economic cycle. I don't want to just win them in November. I want to win them in 12 months of the year. I want to be the person who has that monthly, weekly, daily success story. I am committed to solving this because here's what I also know. You must always stay the problem solver. And you will win when you commit to that. And I'm going to invite you to solve the problem of clients in the next 20 minutes. So when I first was in the world of corporate, I imagined that I was going to just stay in the world of corporate. I thought that I would start a side hustle and that I would use that side hustle to just create a bit of extra cash. Truthfully, I wanted a big travel fund and I wanted to shorten my career and take earlier retirement. And I started my business 1 hour a day. And I want to just cast your imagination for a second. Will you commit to me to minimum 1 hour a day? If I told you you could build a business in 1 hour a day, and I'm not talking $1 million business, but I'm talking enough to create you revenue, would you find 1 hour a day? Would you solve the problem of finding and committing to yourself 1 hour a day? Because I'm not saying you'll build $1 million business $1 a day, but you could start at an hour a day. And I'm going to show you what I did because I built my business when I started it 1 hour a day. And I started it on top of a corporate career. I was engaged to be married. I was soon to be having 2 bonus daughters who were teenagers and a dog and a house being built, all in the mix. This was not a rational decision to start a business. Ever. So if your friends think you're crazy for wanting to pursue a stage or for wanting to pursue a business, just say I'm one of those crazy peeps. No problem. You've got good company. But I was in the world of corporate. I walked into the hotel lobby thinking I would spend my evening with a glass of wine and some emails, except for HR and my boss were in the hotel bar where I was going to be spending my evening. And I knew in a heartbeat I was going to be fired. And I thought, holy hell, I did not see that coming. But I'd already started to plant the seed that I would start building a business. And in that moment, I had to decide at time to go up, and decisions like speed, and Suzanne's very right, simple and speed are the key to winning. But when I started to build my own business, what I realized in rooms like this one, in Captivate's environment, that my peers had a great idea, but they couldn't commercialize it. So I want you to say, I want to commercialize my success. I want to commercialize my ideas. I want to commercialize my impact, because I will tell you this, if you want to transform somebody's lives, there is exchange. And one of the most profound and common currencies around the world is monetary exchange. So we have to get our head around 2 distinct questions. And I get not everybody here maybe wants a business out of this, but you have to decide, I'm doing this to commercialize and make big ripples, or I'm doing this for the applause. And I'm not saying that those are separate and mutually exclusive, but I need, if you want clients, to get very clear that commercial success is part of the game. Because commercial success is an attitude. It's a commitment to solving the problem. And it is that we're going to master the ask. So are you in? Hands up. I'm ready to figure this out and make commercial success. So I will tell you there's 2 things, and this is how business is elegantly simple. For the love of God, please stop buying the complexity the world is selling you. That's why I got kicked out of marketing camp, because I would not buy the sizzle. I wanted the substance. There are only 2 things that predict your revenue. Just 2. So I want you to pop in the chat. When you're thinking about your business, what's the thing that you think, if I did this today, I would sleep easy? What is the top task? Think back to last week, because we're on a brand new week today. Think back to last week and you thought, if I did this one thing in my business, I would go, heck yes, I'm a problem solver. I move my business forward. Pop it in the chat. What did you actually think last week was your top priority? Was it getting out an email? Was it posting on social media? Was it creating social content? Was it finding new colors? Was it finding what? What are you actually focused on? Speaking, making calls, getting leads, finding voice, connecting, publishing, being consistent. You notice how everybody's answers are different? That's 100% normal. I think the reason why you're sold so much complexity is people tell you there's one way to grow a business. There's not. I've made $1 billion for people. There's not one way. But what's really important is there's one thing that's the most important: sales. Sales is the single thing that will rescue any problem you have in your business. And if you cannot get your head around, I'm going to sell and commercialize, then I will just say this with somebody with great respect: quit the field. Because you'll make yourself crazy and you will go broke, and broke leads to burnout. And burnout to me is a delayed decision. So sales is the name of the game. So how do you get more sales? Well, there are two things that will predict your revenue. So I want you, until you have the point of sales success that you want, you only do these two things. This is what I tell my clients. Think of your business as 100%. Whatever your number is, it's 100% of the total revenue. Until you get to that 100%, 80% of your time is on these two things, which means you're doing a whole heck of a lot of noise. And I don't want you doing more hours. I want you being more effective in those hours. So this is your permission to declutter, to strip back all the noise and do less. Heck yes, if you're ready to do less and be more effective at the pieces of the puzzle. Here's the first piece. Nobody tells you this, so this is a huge, huge light bulb moment. And I know I said somebody in the chat said they wanted a light bulb moment. Your business will be built on strangers. Okay, it's not based on your friends and family. It's not based often in your known network from day one. But I want you to get your head around your business will be built on strangers. And I'm not talking just at the beginning. I mean, always. Your ability to connect with new strangers will be the lifeblood of your business. But not all strangers are equal, and that's where the fine print gets missed. You're not just looking for strangers. You're not just looking for visibility. You're just not looking for stages. You're looking for rooms with people who are the buyer. And if you're not familiar with the word buyer, think of the word patient, clients, customers, whatever's relevant to you in your business. So I want you to write down the word strangers with a plus symbol and buyers. Because if they're not willing, and I'm going to tell you what a buyer is, don't worry, they're not willing to buy, it's not really helpful if your job is sales. That makes sense? So I need you to get your head around strangers. And I will tell you, every adult I know says, oh my God, I don't know how to make friends with strangers. That's scary, terrifying. Well, don't worry, we're going to show you how to do that. But that's going to move your needle. So if you're not meeting more people, more ways, more often, you cannot solve the sales problem. So Zach, if you'll drop in the chat, if you have the link, I'm going to give you a resource that's going to help you track the two things I'm talking about right now. Okay, so you can grab that, put that open your open screen. You're going to want to make sure you build and take the tracker that I'm gifting you, because forevermore, you're going to be tracking how many strangers do I meet every single day. Second piece of this puzzle is that you must lead the offer. You must make an ask. And there's a lot of versions when you start in terms of the scaries of what the ask is. But let's be clear, the ultimate ask is an offer that has a money price tag. Buy my service. But in the beginning, it might be buy my invitation to a workshop, my invitation to a conversation, my invitation to a resource. But you're going to have to master the ask. And here's the thing, I can guarantee you, even if you're terrified of the idea of selling, your buyer is more scared than you. So you must lead the ask. And how many asks you make will predict your success. So I want you to pop in the chat right now. How many offers have you made in the first 10 days of the month? How many offers that had money attached to them have you made in the last 10 days? I've got 1, 2, 3. Thank you. I've got a 0 because that's a completely acceptable answer. 0, 15, 5, 39, 0, 1. Okay, well, just so we're clear, simple sass here. If your answer is 0, you have to get off 0. If you're already off 0, let me ask you this. Whatever your number is it enough offers to meet your commercial goal, your revenue goal, your paying your salary goal, your ability to feed your family and pay your bills goal? Are you making enough offers to hit this real input equals output math? I got lots of no's in the chat coming up. Not yet. No, no, no. So I want you to write this down because this is how simple it is. I must up the activity. Because here's what you will also need to know, that you do not control when somebody says yes to your offer, but you can control how many offers go out. The more offers you go out, the more stable your business. The more strangers you meet, the more stable your business. I don't know why you would want to set yourself on fire by constantly not having enough activity. You have to get off 0. So I want you to pop in the chat right now. I will solve this problem of more strangers, and I will solve the problem of more asks. Because I will tell you this, it's that simple. It is not at all effortless. So I'm going to take you now to the next step. Where do I put my time and effort? Your time and effort comes down to building the foundational skills of business. I need to understand marketing. I need to understand sales and do it. And I need to be able to do it more than once. You can choose your speed, but the destination is in your control. So I tell my clients there's 5 foundations in every business. And that's everything from a freelancer who's working 1 hour a day to some of the biggest companies on the planet. The first thing is we need to get clear who we are looking for. Who's the stranger we want to meet? And how can we determine if they're a buyer? And a lot of people will talk about client avatars or client marketing profiles or an ICP, which is your ideal client profile. I think all of that is just noise and crap. So if you've never heard those words, don't get stuck in the language. Here's what you're looking for. You are looking for a person who is standing on a grenade about a decision to change something. So buyers equal decision makers. If they're not a decision maker, guess what? They're not going to decide to buy your services. It's very simple. But so the first thing is you've got to decide that intersection point. So think about what's going on. What do they want? What have they tried? What do they hope for? What? And if you can spot that pattern, you will create stability for yourself because you will know that you need to move towards it. And all you need to do is put up a signpost and say, I solve this problem. I stand for this result. And if you're interested, move towards me. Stop chasing. It's ineffective. It's exhausting. And it doesn't work highly predictably. So the first piece of the puzzle, step number 1, foundation, is who are you looking for? That's a choice. You get to choose. This is the ultimate freedom card of entrepreneurship. I choose who I serve. So do you. If your business doesn't feel like oxygen, you need to rethink it because you are making a very intentional choice. I'm going to serve this person who's facing this decision, who's going to move towards me, not the other way around. Second piece of the puzzle is that we must influence. Okay, we must move somebody from curious to paid client. I will tell you this, stop going from first date to marriage proposal. Your business needs to recognize that your human buyer is living in a mess with lots of different multiple priorities, lots of different things going on in their lives. And silence doesn't mean a no, it just means silence. But I must move them. I must move them from curious to paid client. And the way I know how to do this is by keep asking, keep inviting, keep speeding them along, recognizing that speed bumps are part of the journey. Ask is the key. I must invite. I must lead the movement, because no momentum is built unless there's movement. And we're in charge of asking. The third piece of the foundations that every business owner must need is that you must decide right now, do I want to be the likable expert, or do I want to be the most hired expert? There's a very big difference between being a likable expert who people applaud but don't hire, and the other side of the camp, which is they know what they do, they know how to get there, they can guide me there, and I will invest for that support. So put right now, do you want to be the must hire or the likable expert? This is a decision you get to make, and you're going to make it today, and you're going to catapult it at Captivate. But I'm really clear. I'm commercializing my business. I'm inviting and looking for buyers, and I know I'm a must hire. I'm certain that I'm a smart money decision. And I will tell you, certainty isn't always 100%. We will all wobble. But we have to be tenacious, and we have to commit to being off zero. So if you know you're a smart money decision, you have to remember, how can I communicate that? How can I let people experience that? How can I showcase that in the eye of the buyer? Because the buyer is the one who makes the decision, not you. So get out of your own way and think about the other person you're serving. Put them front and center. Because if you're clear what grenade they're standing on and you ask them and you support them, they will always say yes to you. Always. Because it's a rational decision to solve the problem. So let me just recap, so we'll bring you along to where we are. There's two things that predict your revenue: buyers, offers, and your ability to know who they are, how to influence and move them, and how to master the ask. So one final piece I want to bring into this is, who the heck is the buyer? Because you're like, I get it, the principle's clear, but buyers are three things. If it ever feels like, hands up if it feels like it's a needle in a haystack. Like you're thinking, I know there's out there, but I cannot find these people. It feels like my buyers are a needle in a haystack. Thank you, Tina. Who else? Like, seriously, like, where are all these people? I know I want to do them great work, but who are they? Buyers are a small subset of the population. So if it feels like it's a needle in the haystack, it is. And if you're frustrated because it's not happening fast enough, I get you and I see you. But here's what I know. 3% of buyers today will invest with a credit card. It's not a big percentage. That means 97% other people are not moving. Do you give up and go home? Not a chance. Because I'm committed to being a problem solver. Here's the good news. It's 3% today. It's 3% tomorrow. It's 3% the day after. It's 3% the day after that. So that's compounding for you. If you commit to staying in the game, you commit to staying in the activity, you will build a business in spite of yourself and because you're staying in the game. But it can feel like, where the heck are they? That's normal. It's normal for me. It's normal for Suzanne. It's normal for all of you too. But buyers have three things. I want you to write these down because this is what you're looking for. This is the gold sheet to success. Number one, buyers know they have a problem. Okay, you're looking for people who have already said, I know I have a problem. Do not, can you? Yes, but do not go after a market you have to convince. You'll go exhausted. You won't get there. But if they say, I know I have a problem, you're away to the races. Because if they have a known problem, guess what? They are like you, they're a solution solver, which means they've gone to trainings, they've downloaded a podcast, they've read books, they've gone on courses, they've asked Aunt Sally, they've gone to Facebook, TikToks, YouTubes. You know what all that is? Hallelujah, buyer behavior. They're already moving towards it, which means if they have already bought once, they're going to do what? High probability buy again. But you need to look at this. I will buy again if I can improve my satisfaction. Because the truth is, while I bought once, I'm not satisfied. So you're looking for a person who is curious to be better satisfied. And they don't have to be satisfied to the moon. They have to be incrementally satisfied. I need just one more. I need the 1%. I want to be 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. You'll build a beautiful business like that. So they're problem aware. They're curious to find a solution to find better happiness, result, and satisfaction, and they're committed. It's important you ask somebody, are you willing to make a decision? Are you committed to moving forward? Are you willing to take the investment in time, resources to get the solution? Because if they say no, they're not ready for the offer. You can work and warm up the relationship, but you always know this truth. Here's another piece I want you to write down. If somebody has a known problem, they have only two choices: solve the problem or keep the problem. So when you've met somebody who you know has a known problem, who says, I'm curious about the solution, you always know this. I can keep asking, do you want to solve the problem, until they say, I've solved it. And that will create stability for you. People often ask me, why do I now run the business I run? I never set out to be a global empire business owner. I set out to work 1 hour a day to create an additional bit of revenue for myself. But what I realized in my network is that my peers needed help finding clients. They didn't know what to focus on. They didn't know how to get off zero, and they didn't know how to build momentum. And I thought to myself, but if you can't do this, you'll go broke, emotionally and financially. And so people would say to me over a glass of wine or a cup of coffee, Christine, what the heck are you doing for 1 hour a day? Well, I was focused on the two things: finding new strangers to talk to where I could determine if they were a buyer, and I got my ask on. And that led me to building the success I have today. So I'm gifting you, and guys, if you want to pop that link back into the chat, a resource that includes two things. Number one, it's a tracking sheet that will show you, how do I keep track that every week I meet more people? How can I keep track how many buyers I identify, and what do I do with them? I make more offers. And if your answers are a shortfall to the results you want, you have one choice: light your fire and speed up. Second thing that's in this resource is, you might be thinking, great, I've got this idea. I know that I have to do this, but where do I heckin' go? Where do I go? What room do I get into? Where are these people I want to serve? Well, the second gift is in there is 25 ways that I know right now people are making money. Rooms that are working right now to find clients. So I don't want you wandering in the wilderness. I don't need that, nor do you. But I want you to read this resource, and I don't want you doing 25 things. Can I get, Christine, I promise I won't do 25 things. I promise I won't buy complexity. I promise I won't get into the lane of squirrel brain spinning in circles. I want you to find one. Because if you can find one thing and start 1 hour a day, and you can get good at this, and you can commit to getting off zero, I have 100% certainty. I have 100% certainty you'll commercialize your idea. Stay out of the game people are trying to sell you. I know clients right now spent money on something you could have sold them. If you don't solve this, shame on you. If you are here, it's because you are ready to wobble and to move. And I want to say this with final words here, is I tell my clients, and this is a bit of a safe word for me, if growing a business feels scary, welcome to the journey. If it feels wobbly, you're on a planet that's vibrating at a really fast speed. No wonder it feels wobbly. That's normal, but you have a choice. And that's why I asked if you were a problem solver when we started. I can control and choose whether I'm going to let the wobble play the game, or I can choose that I will direct the wobble. I want you to ask yourself, am I willing to direct the wobble? Because if you are, you're in the room hearing from great speakers over the next 3 days. You're going to get challenged in uncomfortable ways. But if you commit to solving it and say, I'm going to direct the wobble, you'll win. And I am here today in the world that I do, in the business that I build, because I want more of you to win. You've got great ideas that should commercialize. But solving the business, not optional. And it starts today. Grab the resource, use the tools. If you've not met before, come connect to me. I'm Christine Campbell Rapin, and I will tell you this final thing. Business growth is elegantly simple. It is never going to be effortless, but you control the speed. So if you commit to being greater 1% at a time and say, I will get off 0 every day, you'll win. So pop it in the chat. Final thing today, I commit to getting off 0. It's go time. Thank you for having me.
Oh,